You're tuned into the New Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon at bringingdowntheband.com and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, and Team Backpack. Support the New Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
Episode 101 of the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. I make beats. My hard drive is down right now, so there's no smoke. The only thing smoking is my computer.
No smoke, no smoke.
At this point, Lonegevity, Mr. Treese. I see you with the Treese 2 shirt on. That's throwback. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I like the branding with the mug there as well.
Thank you. You know,
Product placement.
gotta support the brands that support the culture.
The brand is strong.
That's two autumns ago.
Word. DJ Jay Diff in the corner, fresh to death as always. How are you, sir?
Salutations. I'm good.
Good. Good to see you, brother.
Thank you. You as well.
All right. At the head of
Something like excellent.
I like that.
Yeah.
At the head of the table.
2018 in this bit.
At the head of the table, the voice of Indianapolis, Mr. Wavy, light-skinned girls be loving me now. You can see him rocking the mic in the clubs, weddings, and such as that.
Non-for-profit events. I do it all.
I like that.
Yeah.
He will secure that bag. Jay Moore's in the building.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? It's good to see everybody.
Hello.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I missed episode 100 at Orange, but I just want to congratulate everybody, especially people here at the table, to put in that kind of work and to do it 100 times, 100 weeks in a row. No weeks off. That's something to be applauded. So shout out to you guys, and shout out to everybody who came through. Oreo Jones, Leslie Salago, DJ Helicon, let's see. Yeah, just a little bit of everybody felt through it. Gabby
Love,
DJ Indiana Jones.
Rusty.
A lot of people came through, just sat down and chopped it up. It was good content. So
Well, thanks to you. Thank you to you for saying that. And you're a part of this. You're a new old head with us.
yeah,
So
man. So I'm
sucks
just
that you weren't able to be there, but
had
thank you.
to secure a bag on the other side of town. So
Understand how that goes, sir.
Yeah, but
That's why I'm not at half these episodes.
Get that bag. Spoolz.
no, man. But like I said, it's no small feat to be able to do anything 100 times, especially to do it 100 weeks in a row. We didn't care anything about the snow or rain
That's
or
true.
personal stuff that had going on. We made
sure.
it happen one way or another. So just congratulations, and let's make it another 100.
To my immediate left, the incomparable DJ Spoolz.
Hello, Michael.
How are you, sir?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Good to see you. I know you're thinking about your Cubs at this moment.
Yeah, man. Down 1-0. Last I looked, top of the 6th inning. So
It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be
I
interesting.
just think the whole one-game playoff thing for the wild card is stupid. I don't know how long they've been doing that for. I don't think that's been like an always thing.
No, it's I don't think
What
they-
is it? Best
maybe
of,
10
best
years.
Of 3?
No, it's the best of one.
I'm talking about, did it used to be something else? Or
No,
is
it used to
all-
was just to whoever had the 4th best record
Oh,
was
just
the
got
wild
in?
card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the 4th and 5th best records play a one game.
playing.
You know what that's about?
Yeah.
That's
What?
crazy.
It's about the participation trophy.
Money or
or
some. You think so?
I think it's about money.
Yeah, it's probably somehow about money.
Yeah.
Participation trophy.
So with the Cubs
That's what I'm
fourth,
going with.
Oh, I think I know why they might have done it. So the Cubs were 4th, yeah, because what they kind of did it to themselves because they could have won the division had they won like won the last couple games they played.
Mm-hmm.
And then they played Milwaukee for the division last night and lost that game. So
I see.
they had a chance to avoid this, but
Like they had been winning. They had been at the top of the division pretty much all season, and then
Yeah.
lost the last game.
I think they have the best record or second best record in the National League. But
Well, they're at
Milwaukee stayed right in there with them, like real close behind them, and then took them over the last 3 games. So,
Well, they're at home, so that place gets crazy around this time. So hopefully
I
they
should
can, build off that, get a little bit of momentum off of that, because
I hope so, man.
it gets nuts around there. So
It's good to see you, though, Mike.
It's
Nonetheless,
crazy.
man.
I mean, there's so many games in baseball, and to play an entire season and to do well, and then to just all of a sudden just blow it
Dude,
the last 2-3 games.
Yeah,
Yeah, for it to
That's
come down
tough.
to the very
160.
last game.
You're right, dude. Sean, you're right, dude. You're exactly right. It's 162
162?
games
I mean-
that can come down to one game.
that's tough. That's tough.
Yep.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. Episode 101. I have no numbers. I'm fresh out.
I'm going to go with 𝗏𝗲𝗪
You already know.
Will you explain for the people what 𝗏𝗲𝗪 because I wasn't hip until just a few minutes ago.
What'd you think it was?
You just thought he was mentioning the 101
Because he said, I thought you were just
Dalmatians.
mentioning the 101
It's Disney,
Dalmatians.
right?
So
No.
It's
Disneyland.
Not the
Disneyland.
they
Brown
don't
sugar
have a
had nothing to do
hip
with
hop
Disneyland.
Dalmatians.
No, it's actually a reference to the movie Brown Sugar.
Okay.
Starring Sanaa Lathan, Mos Def is in there. Who
Queen
else?
Latifah.
Queen Latifah, host of others. But there was a rap group in there that was a black and white rapper.
Trash.
They were very corny. So we're not really the 𝗏𝗄𝗄 Dalmatians. That was just a joke because we're not corny. But there was a corny rap group called the 𝗏𝗄𝗄 Dalmatians in that movie.
Yeah.
So
Jay
They had a
Moore.
hit record though.
What was that
in
lead single, Jay Moore?
The lead single from the Hip Hop Dalmatians on Millennium Records was "The Hoe Is Mine," patterned after Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney's "The Girl Is Mine."
there you go.
Nice. Nice.
My oh
I'd
my.
sing a little bit, but I don't want to get dinged.
Nah, yeah, we
so,
gonna definitely
yeah,
get
we don't
dinged
we
if
don't
you
want to
do
do
that.
that. So go ahead and do
It'll
your
be
research
featured
on
on
that.
Spotify.
Where's the bell, by the way? Grab that.
Yeah.
Good point, Spoolz.
Yeah, bring out the bell.
There we go.
Yeah, I would get the bell if I tried to sing, so I'm not going to do that.
Oh, no,
right.
I've heard you sing at Coach's
Oh, well,
after midnight.
well, yeah, because
Is
I
that after a few whiskeys?
had a couple of
Few of them things.
yeah, just a little something. Yeah, loosen up the voice.
Few of them things.
Get me right, and then
Loosen
I can go
up the
ahead
voice.
and show you my vocal stylings.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something to see.
Oh,
All right.
all right. Let's go ahead and jump into.
See or hear?
But I'd say C. You don't
Okay,
really want to
gotcha.
hear it.
All right, fair enough.
All right, so let's jump in. 45's Supreme Court Justice nominee's been out here, I guess, acting bad, or if not acting bad, his history has come up. So I was asleep. I had to do a little research. Y'all put me on game. So Brett Kavanaugh, he's 45's Supreme Court Justice nominee. It says, and I got this per Wikipedia, so
Okay.
you know, hopefully they on their grind.
Actual factuals.
So on September 16th, 2018, a young lady named Christine, I think it's Blasey Ford, if I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry. She was a professor at Palo Alto University.
Is
Oh,
was.
she is. She still is. Sorry about that. Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Ford.
That's that wiki.
I see you. There's one correction. So Kavanaugh had sexually assaulted her when she was 15 and he was 17. She stated that in the early 80s, Kavanaugh and a guy named Mark Judge, who was, I guess, one of his homies, were friends from Georgetown Prep School. They basically got her in a bedroom at a house party, pinned her to the bed, I guess groped her, ground against her, tried to pull her clothes off, and covered her mouth as she was screaming.
Yeah. Turn the music up.
Turn the music up real loud. So they were having a confirmation hearing about this, and I kept seeing beer coming up. I didn't get the SNL reference. You guys did, and then we started to watch like it's the real hearing.
Squeeze one of
Squee.
their homies who'd like to drink beer.
Well,
Beer.
He was on the calendar, so we know that he drank
Yeah.
beer.
Right. So yeah,
shout out to the calendar as well,
Yeah,
because
man.
you know you can
what's
use
his
that.
name? Donkey Lips.
Wow.
Donkey
Nah,
Dong.
Donkey Lips was
Donkey
from,
Dong.
think
was
you-
from
and
Salute
I
Your
think-
Shorts.
and that
That's from
I
another
see-
movie.
yeah, I
you
see
that
you,
was
though.
Salute Your Shorts.
I
And,
see you though.
and that was not in it.
Okay.
That
That
was
wasn't real life.
that was an SNL edition.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they
That's awesome.
this whole nomination is for a Supreme Court justice, which, as we know, is a lifelong nomination.
Yeah.
Some old sons of bitches.
And so they're
still on that board.
I see you over there. Get it out, man.
No, it's cool.
Okay. Go ahead, Long.
and there are I believe 4 different women that have come out against Kavanaugh. I think one actually retracted. I could be wrong.
Oh wow.
I could be wrong.
Didn't realize there were 4. Dang.
Me neither.
I could be wrong. I thought there were 4. Maybe.
I'd heard it got up to 5 at one point, but the thing is, all these women don't want to testify because
Yeah.
thing is with Dr. Ford, she's actually had to move out of her house
Oh man,
So-
that's
because
tough.
of
That's
death
tough, man.
threats. So,
So the
Death threats?
The
Death
thing,
threats.
The thing kind of going back and forth here is the GOPs are saying, well, you're dragging a good man through the ground over something that happened a long time ago, allegedly, with no proof.
You don't say.
And why didn't she bring this up earlier? Which
Mhm.
we don't really need to have that discussion, I don't think. But we probably do. But so just for a little bit of history here, she did not just come out and say this for this, like, it wasn't like he was nominated and then the Democrats just used this.
Mhm.
Well, that's not even necessarily true because we don't know.
well, she
We don't
actually
know.
said that once his name was starting to float around, then that's when she decided that she needs to say
Right.
something to somebody. It was
So
before he was the actual nominee, but just
that's
when
what
his,
I was
when his-
getting at.
when his name was being mentioned.
So back to so she had went to therapy apparently in 2012 or 13 with her husband and actually talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't just something that they, it's not just some random, allegation. Like Jay Moore said, once she saw that his name was up for a potential nominee,
Mm-hmm.
that's when she sent a letter to her senator, I believe, and did not want to be revealed. Apparently, the letter got out, and then after it got out, then she spoke out. So that's kind of how that went. The GOP is kind of using this, trying to politicize it a little bit, saying that trying to say that the well, I mean they're trying to say that the Democrats are treating just using anything to bring him down. Now I don't know if there's any validity to that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this probably happened. Does that make sense?
I follow you.
So yeah, that's just more of the backstory based upon.
Spoolz, jump in. You got any thoughts on this, just as a whole?
No, I think it's just like I don't know. It kind of points out some of the things that we've talked about before on this podcast. I feel like, as far as, I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone's going to be perfect that you pick, and I think this happens on both sides. Like people's pasts get picked apart, things like that. But this is pretty legit, man, and I think it's one of those things that while it seems to be something that everybody sometimes talks about how it's such a a big thing right now, the whole sexual. I mean, it should always be a thing. You know what I mean? It's just that you need to own your behavior.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that we continue to not see that happen. I feel like.
But it is new, especially for the older white men.
Yeah.
That's
and that's kind of the part of what we talk about sometimes. That's what I was saying. It just the way that he acted, from what I saw, sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was my gum.
Yeah, he was showing out.
Well, it was also it was. I remember I actually watched it live. I was working from home that day, and I sat there and watched this guy go in between tears to rage, and it was just also if Dr. Ford had acted in the same manner, she would be considered hysterical and uncredible.
Good point.
Right.
But to see this man talk about how much beer he liked to drink and to start crying, I was like, this is imagine going to any job interview you've ever had and not answer the questions you're asked. Start crying and talk about how much you enjoy beer and answer questions with questions, and then expect to get the job.
Right.
That was outrageous to me. But then also, I don't want to say aside from the.
Plus, he's a judge.
Yeah, and he's a judge.
That's what he's,
Yeah, and so I'm like,
exactly.
You can't
Yep.
express yourself any better than this. This is the most even-tempered you can be when you know this is on television.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things that is bothersome to me, and we're not talking about this because of these sexual abuse allegations, is that all the other Supreme Court justices on both Republican and Democrat have released 100% of their records that or close to it from their public life. Now, this guy worked in George W. Bush's White House. And for whatever reason, only about 10% of all the documents pertaining to his time there were released before in advance of the hearings. And then they released a whole bunch of stuff after, thousands and thousands of pages, where they had no chance to actually review this stuff, where, we should really be concerned with how quickly the Republicans are trying to get this guy on the bench. And the crazy thing is when you do a lot of goalpost moving, which is what they've done, they're like, oh, well, we got to hurry up and do this. We can't let this seat just sit open. I was like, Merrick Garland, you had no problem leaving that seat open and basically stealing a Supreme Court appointee from Barack Obama. You let him that seat sit open for almost a year.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think?
But now
about
it's
all
just a rush to judgment.
I'm asleep, and I'll be honest, I haven't followed it like you guys have, so I can admit that. I actually need to go watch the entire hearing itself. I didn't see it when you guys saw it, so I can't say too much other than what I read because I wouldn't be able to give you much information.
Well, based on what you understand about this person, what do you think about?
Well, I agree with what you said about it's unfortunate that it brings up something that we seem to revisit, right? it's a lot of the same things that we've revisited over our 100 episodes. And we actually have also talked about, I guess, in my opinion, how unstable he looks as someone that's being appointed as a position of this height, like this magnitude, like someone that's trying to be
Lifetime.
at this level in a lifetime. Exactly. Like, you look mad unstable, in my opinion, to be going from crying to this to that. Like, that's not a good look. That's not a good look.
What I want to add is just the simple fact that, I mean, like we already know, he's a judge.
Yep.
And the way he's going about this proceeding is just very awkward. Like, imagine someone coming into his courtroom with the proof that he had. He had a calendar.
Facts.
So imagine someone coming before
a paper
him
calendar
with a calendar
from
to
1983.
prove that they were in this place or weren't here, and
He was with Squee.
jotted down all this stuff. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. You know good and well that doesn't fly.
But
that doesn't. Yeah.
but
it
to
doesn't-
his
doesn't
but
make
to
sense
his
at all.
defense, to his defense, I mean, it is innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yeah.
Only if you look a certain way.
Well,
I'm not disagreeing with
I
that.
see what you. I see what
I'm
you
not
did
disagreeing
there.
with the historical, but that's what it is supposed to be, right? Which we're going to talk about that a little
Right.
bit in a little bit. I just want to echo one more thing that you said, is that this isn't like he's not applying to be the manager at Amazon or even an engineering position. This is like a judge position, and he's got serious allegations against the credibility of his character, and that it's
and I actually heard a Republican senator come out today. I wish I could remember exactly who it was, because I would flame them. Actually say we need to hurry up and have a vote before anything else comes out.
Yeah, that's
Like-
the political side of all this too, man. And that's the part that that makes me become, I don't know, just want to distance myself from a lot of this too, because it's like hearing stuff like that. This vote has such a big impact on people. You know what I
That's a
mean?
good
Like,
call.
it's like, well, let's hurry up and get what we want. Like,
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm just saying, I've
not like let's hurry up and hear about
what may
what's
have
going
happened
on and
Yeah.
all that. Like, it's just like we need to,
Get it over with.
Let's not
Yeah.
hurry up and get more proof and more information. Let's just hurry up and have a vote.
so we can sway the Supreme Court.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's a good point, Spool.
And also, like I said, I've had my dealings with the criminal justice system, and I understand what inside of a courtroom looks like. If you showed up with a calendar from whenever
For a freaking traffic ticket.
for a traffic
Right.
ticket and said
Yeah.
I couldn't have been doing that, I was at Spool's house
Look,
playing
it says right here.
playing NBA. It says it, and it says here. I also did not rob a liquor store this day. It says that in red ink. So
Because I
that's
was with
proof.
Squee.
and this is
Yeah.
per my calendar.
Yes, per
Yeah.
my calendar. So can I go home now?
Can we talk about one more thing out this?
Go ahead.
Just
Yeah.
so, can we go into a little bit more detail on the guilty and innocent, and the innocent until proven guilty? Can we elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I don't want-
You
I
made
wanna-
the point. Go ahead.
But I want to ask Terry about that, because I want you to elaborate a little bit more on what you meant by what you said.
All right, so the reason why I said this, and by no means is this is a disclaimer saying that I'm not G'ing for people that have cases going on
Sure.
and things like that. But for example, Mr. Bill Cosby is was convicted and has been given his prison term or prison sentence.
And just for the record, that's a mandatory 3 years.
3 to 10.
But it says 3 to 10. He must serve the initial 3.
Is it
Right.
federal?
State.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
Which
have
state?
him.
Out of curiosity, California.
Pennsylvania, I believe.
Pennsylvania. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Sure.
So you have him he had a lot piled up against him. He never once said he didn't do what he was accused of doing either. And that kind of goes to like some people that are saying, well, he didn't do it. He said he did do this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So let's let it be. He did it. But the difference between his case and the Kavanaugh case is he was deemed guilty beforehand. Even though he did admit to certain things, he didn't necessarily admit to rape, but the things leading up to that are evidence as far as leading to rape. You know what I'm saying? But Kavanaugh, on the other hand, they're giving him a pass, and they want to hurry up and get it over with so they can continue with moving him on,
Yeah.
not to go to jail,
Right.
but to serve on the Supreme Court. That's what I mean as far as the whole innocent until proven guilty from that aspect. Just because there's a correlation with both of those cases going on right now. You have one man that's about to serve 3 to 10 years for rape. You have another person that is not going to be convicted because it's not a court trial. It's just a what do they call it? A proceeding? What is it?
I'm not even sure what
was listed on the
So something about the confirmation
hearing.
Well,
is
see,
what I
we
saw.
actually
It's
already
not-
had the conference. This was just an additional hearing.
post confirmation.
It's not anything that he's going to be tried for. It's pretty
Nah.
much
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
he's
like
going
you
to
are
go
saying.
home and sleep in his bed tonight.
No
Exactly.
question. No question.
And that's the whole kind of innocent to proven guilty thing,
So-
because there was years that span between now and that case, and there was years that span between now and the Bill Cosby case as well.
I think
There are similarities.
I think what you're really going with is everyone's saying, "Oh, that was so long ago. Why are we
Right.
bringing that up?" But like when it comes to Bill Cosby, it was like I don't care how long ago it was.
Yeah,
So
Jumping
I
along-
it's still at the end of the day, it's still a Me Too movement.
You were
if-
going to say something
If
there?
you want to be,
I
for
was
real
just
about
gonna with what you're saying, you're not necessarily saying that there's anything wrong with innocent until proven guilty. You're just pointing out the double standard.
it. Right.
And I think that's the important part to say. You know, nobody is saying that that's not an important part of, you know,
Yeah,
So
because
I
I
wanna-
mean,
as
yeah,
you were-
that's definitely
Constitution.
Mhm.
But
I like that.
As
jump,
you were
jump in,
as you
Spoolz.
guys were talking about that, it made me think. So, I actually honestly think like money plays a huge part in this too, and public image and all that stuff. Because Darren Sharper, not too long ago, got caught up, if I'm not mistaken, drugging women and raping them,
football player, right?
and
Yeah.
he got life.
Yep.
Did he
Oh,
get
yeah.
life? I think was it life?
Double check that.
Yeah.
If
Well,
not,
I know he got-
like,
he
said,
got-
oh,
he got a
I've only
lot.
got 1% on my phone.
I'll fact check
well,
that.
and
But I think Spoolz is correct on
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
he got a nice. He's sitting down for a nice
a
amount
long
of time.
time.
But
phone's
this
about
is just something I want to clear up, and this is we're going to get into this because everyone says, "Oh, you know, Bill Cosby, he's in there for rape." This is the thing; it's a sexual assault case. He did not who he was on trial for. He did not rape this woman.
Bill Cosby. Didn't.
Bill Cosby.
Okay. Yeah, what was he? I'm sure there's a huge difference between Darren Sharper and Cosby's
oh,
cases.
yeah.
I'm not trying to say they're the same, but
Because it's like everyone wants to use the word sexual assault and rape interchangeably.
Mhm.
Not that I'm G'ing for either type of behavior,
Right.
but you know we can't always. We have to speak with nuance sometimes and actually pay attention to our words because they mean a lot.
Let's set the table with Andrea Constant because this is who
Yeah.
actually was with
Because she was
singing with
actually-
Cosby.
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
And she's saying, and this is what this is per CNN. It says Constant has maintained that in 2004 Cosby gave her pills to help her relax, but the pills left her body limp and paralyzed. She says it was then that Cosby sexually assaulted her in his Philadelphia home. So that is basically what she's saying, and then that's when everybody else came in, and you get all other people echoing the same thing. All of the stories were similar.
Yeah, and so like the actual because I read when reading through the transcript, it was like while she was apparently drugged because apparently that's his MO. He touched her breasts and of course put her hand on his crotch, and that was what happened. So while foul behavior, you know what I'm saying, I'm not G'ing for any of that. You cannot say that. You know, whenever I hear he was convicted of rape, I understand where people are angry and they feel, but we have, like I said, words matter. He wasn't
Oh, they do.
convicted of rape.
And
I agree.
I also think sometimes what people are convicted of and what they did are sometimes
So was
two
it
different
was
things.
it technically sexual assault?
It was
then?
sexual
Sexual
assault,
assault.
definitely. But you know, it was the same thing when like people talk about the Tupac
you
case
go-
back in the 90s.
Yeah.
That wasn't. They make
I
it
always
seem
heard
like
sexual assault.
it was sexual assault.
Yep.
He got convicted because of the rape charges he was cleared of.
Yeah.
He was convicted. It was in the paperwork.
Wasn't
It was like
sodomy.
no, he was cleared of that.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. He was
But
charged
people
with sodomy.
People
yeah.
bring that up, but he was actually convicted of unlawful touching of the buttocks. That's
Mhm.
what it says in the court documents.
Yep.
And they sent him to Rikers Island for that.
Damn.
But but just think about this: they gave Tupac bail, but they didn't give Bill Cosby bail.
Bill Cosby, and I may have been naive in terms of what I thought was going to happen. I thought he was going to get convicted. Like I didn't see him, you know what I'm saying, like getting out of this. But I also thought, I'm coming to you, Spoolz.
Yeah.
But I also thought it would be a situation where he's, you know what I'm saying, he's going blind. He's 81 years old. I'm thinking they were going to do just the house arrest and then just call it a day. But that may have been me being naive because they definitely walked him right out and took him right to the facility. So, like I said, maybe that's just me being naive. Jump in, Spoolz.
I think I think there's a lot we don't know that goes on behind the scenes as far as a lot of this stuff is concerned as well.
True.
I think the fact that Bill Cosby's, in his 80s, I think the fact that Bill Cosby is like this beloved American character, I think the fact that Bill Cosby's got a lot of money all helped Bill Cosby in getting 3 to 10 years and not something or more. I think the fact that he might have been convicted of doing what you just said doesn't mean that that's all he did. I don't think that any of this would have been in the news for the last 2 years like it has been and all that if all he did was touch one woman, make one woman touch his crotch, right?
Jump in, Jay Diff.
Now, do I understand how race could come into all of this? Absolutely, I do. I'm absolutely not blind to that, and I'm sure it has. I guarantee it has. It's plain to see in some ways it has, but I think Bill Cosby also,
what
I'm
it
glad
is
you
is
acknowledge that too, Spoolz.
there was a lot of women that came forward as far as Bill Cosby is concerned. So nothing was sticking.
Mm-hmm.
So when they found something that would incriminate him and be something that they could take him to trial for, that's what they use.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular case is pretty much the one case that accumulates all of the other cases in other people's eyes. Not literally per se, but you know how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out here and you did this, I mean, there was women saying he did something to them who were just pretty much jumping on the bandwagon. But there was some validity to the stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he admitted to giving women quaaludes and relaxing them and things like that. And this particular case just happened to stick. And that's the reason why I believe he was convicted.
Well, also, I think part of it is for a lot of people, they're satisfied by this because on a karmic level, they feel like Bill Cosby is supposed to be in jail for all the things he's allegedly done. But the thing is, this is still America, and we don't put people in jail because we feel they deserve it. Now, like I said, he admitted to these things, but part of what I can feel like Cosby needs to be in jail, but also be bothered by certain things and how they put him in jail. Like I said, it was supposed to be a sealed deposition, and the judge, the only reason why he unsealed the deposition is because he felt he saw Bill Cosby in taking a moral position on something and felt, well, how can this man who I know admitted to giving quaaludes to women speak on as a moral compass for anybody? So it was almost done out of spite.
Yeah.
So after that came out, that's when prosecutors were able to go ahead and form a criminal case. So I can be very much bothered by that process and still think Bill Cosby is a piece of shit that needs to be in jail.
For sure.
But at the same time, if that's the standard that we're going to have, because the thing is, because it was like, wait a minute, this was a sealed deposition. A judge just on a whim decides he's going to unseal it, and that leads to me being criminally convicted. Regardless of how you feel about Bill Cosby, that should bother a lot more people than it does. But because it's Bill Cosby and people feel on a karmic level he got what he deserved, they're not really that upset about it.
There are a lot of people that are, to his point, it's almost like you can't dissect the case for what it is and take everything into consideration when you voice your opinion on it. It's either you're glad that he's there or you're basically trying to absolve him of what he did. Nobody wants to use the gray area to be able to be like, okay, I still think he's supposed to be in jail, but there are also XYZ that I feel we could at least look at or talk about and discuss. But I'm seeing so many people that are just cut and dry, nah, I don't want to hear about the rest of it.
#free Bill Cosby.
That's what I'm saying.
Get out of here with that.
You know what, man? I wish we lived, side note, that we lived, and I'm not saying anything bad or good about Bill Cosby, just be honest with you. I wish we didn't live in a society where we were talking about this.
That's fair.
That this really kind of and by that I mean either we would talk about everybody who got arrested for something like this or nobody who did. You know what I mean?
Right. Because I
can dig that.
I didn't feel like it, because everybody kept trying to bring race into it and all this. I didn't buy that until I saw him get sentenced to 3 years, because then I started thinking about how Brock Turner only got
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
6 months and only had to serve 3 in county jail.
Yep.
Didn't
and,
even
he's
go to,
not, and he didn't do
and-
Fat Albert.
and he did not do
I see
picture
you,
pages.
Spoolz.
But the thing is, he was actually raping a woman behind the dumpster who was passed out, and the judge said, "I don't want to ruin this young man's
Don't
life."
want to ruin this young
Man,
man's life.
think
And then
about that, though.
I see another case in Alaska just this past week. It happened on the same. The verdict came down the same day. This guy kidnaps a woman, and kidnap, get in the car, and then winds up doing some foulness. I'm not going to get too much into it.
Okay.
But you know what? They gave him probation. I saw a woman who sexually assaulted one of her male students. They didn't even take her teacher certificate. So I'm like, what? But the thing is, when I hear those things, I'm not thinking, oh, Bill Cosby needs to be free. I'm thinking, why didn't they throw the book at those other people?
Jump
Right.
in, Lone.
So yeah, and it goes all the way to the leadership that we have, and
Yes.
all the way up to the top. So
Yep.
when you listen to Trump's press conference today, and he says, "Well, all these allegations they're just what do you say? They're
He's making it hard for young men in this country
essentially,
Man.
because of all the allegations.
You want to talk about ringing the?
yeah,
That's some
Yeah,
bull-
right.
That's some
Please.
That's
yeah.
some fun
I
shit.
mean, so it goes all the way to the top. I don't know if we really need to talk about this anymore. I mean,
Nah,
I think we
I'm
covered all the
cool.
angles.
No,
Yeah,
I think
I'm
I
cool.
think we covered the bases. But it's just like Spoolz said. It's just we wish we didn't have to talk about something like this, and it's bigger than Bill Cosby, and it's bigger
Yes.
than
That's a
the
dope
Supreme
point.
Court. It's a problem. It's an American problem, and until people stop looking at it through their own political lens or their own racial or whatever lens that you want to look at it through, and just say, hey, you can't do this to women, and when you are convicted of it, you can't just let these people go
Exactly.
Yeah.
and talk and worry about, don't worry about their life, worry about the victim's life.
It's a historical male patriarch.
Yeah.
You know, it's bigger than America, really.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
way bigger
so-
than America.
and
This
so-
is a problem everywhere in the world.
And so,
Yes.
you know, I would just say, listen to women.
And I think we're gonna end it right there.
Don't be a moron.
Yeah. Period. Let's jump into a little music. Shout out to North, South, East, adjacent, West. Memphis, suburbs,
Unincorporated.
unincorporated. Bill's what's the street? Bill Street, isn't that the
Yes.
famous street down there? Shout out to them as well. We don't want any problems in that area.
No.
I still want to get barbecue when I come down there.
Yes,
so,
please.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So shout out to Memphis. We love y'all. So, Mr. West.
Mr. West actually didn't drop any music, so
He didn't drop any
It was
music. but
anticipated that he would. Though.
He's associated with music.
He was dancing on SNL in a Pepto-Bismol bottle or something.
Was
right?
it Perrier?
Perrier water bottle.
Yeah, he and was it
Lil
Lil Pump?
Yeah.
Lil Pump
Were
was
both
in,
dressed up as water bottles.
Fiji
Holy smokes.
water bottle.
Don't they have a video like that now?
You're such
Yeah,
a
it was a-
fucking hoe.
Yeah.
Where they're dressed
I
up
love
like
it.
some.
Well, they're like dressed up in like
Boxes.
like a blocky type.
shoulders,
What's
yeah.
that video game the kids like where they build a bunch of shit?
Yeah.
Minecraft.
Tetris.
Minecraft.
Yeah, I think
Old
that's
school
Tetris, bro.
throwback.
Not us as kids.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tetris
The
was
new
cold.
kids.
Not
the new
25
kids.
years ago.
Nah,
30 years
What do you
ago.
say? Minecraft.
Minecraft.
So they're
Okay.
pretty much dressed up like the Minecraft dudes, but on SNL they were in water bottle costumes. But
So
go ahead.
Kanye decided to be Kanye at the end.
Hmm.
Luckily, Chris Rock, well, not luckily, let me take that back. Chris Rock happened to be in the crowd as his rant was cut. This is after the performances, and he had performed with 𝐀𝐃𝐃𝐒. I'm cool on all those joints that came out anyway. It was Ghosts, whatever them songs, you know the songs we
I
talked
like
about.
that song though.
I'm cool. So Kanye, after he performed his records, somebody let him cook. Somebody had the bright idea to say, you know what? Go ahead and take the mic. We're gonna let you cook as we ride out.
And I think he
So-
just did it.
And I think somebody handed it to him though.
Well, no, because
'Cause it wasn't-
usually-
He
I-
had the mic.
No,
It don't
because
matter.
I watched
It don't.
I watched a show live, and the thing is, usually the musical guest gets to perform twice.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the show, they bring everybody. It's like, hey, thanks for coming out. And then like Kanye comes on, and like that was planned.
Yeah.
So he performs a third song. It too was whack. But then like,
Like that.
after, you know, they cut the broadcast just because of time. You know, he goes on this whole rant about how why he had to. He was being bullied for
I
wearing
got the
his
quotes.
MAGA hat.
I got the quotes.
Yeah.
And Chris Rock actually was in the crowd. It was
Yeah.
his footage that went
Yeah.
viral.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. So I pulled a couple quotes. Right. So he said he's saying this sounding like a 5-year-old. Like, they bullied me backstage. They bullied me. They bullied me backstage.
Of all the people,
Of
they
all the
bullied
people,
me.
They bullied me. They told me not to wear the hat. So he's ranting about. They told me not to wear the hat. They bullied me. Then he said, "Y'all talking about the sunken place."
Hold up. Can we just talk about how arrogant of a statement they bullied
Bruh,
me
they
is?
bullied me. Like, that's mad arrogant.
He's supposed to be on this life-changing movement,
Free
right?
thinking, love. Anyway,
Anyways,
I think this is all a part of a rollout. But
This is key.
he also says, y'all want to see this. He said, y'all talk about the sunken place. He says, y'all want to see the sunken place? Okay, I'll listen to y'all. Then he pauses and says, or I can put my Superman cape on, which was the hat. He puts the hat back on and he says, think with your heart, not with your mind. That's how we are controlled. And I'm like, this is just like the demise of someone, just watching the demise of someone that was
This
a
is like somebody that read
huge.
the first chapter of like a book of trying to like find yourself, but didn't read the rest of the book.
Mhm.
Fam, I'm literally watching fam drown. Like, this is like it. Like, it's a wrap. Like, I'm cool on all of this political talk from you. I'm actually not that excited. Don't really care about the music that's going to come out. I'll listen to it, but there is no anticipation for me with Kanye. And then I'll throw it out to y'all. With me,
I got no comments on it.
this is where I'm at. I hope everything that he does for Chicago is dope. That's what I'm about. The kids in Chicago, helping the people in Chicago, getting with G Herbo, getting with Mickey Halstead, getting with all those cats, GLC. You know what I'm saying? Getting with all those guys and helping the city of Chicago.
Bo
Teaching.
Deal.
We see you, Spoolz.
Yeah,
Good call,
right.
Bump J. All these guys getting back into the city and actually helping the youth and helping that city grow and prosper and teach those kids. Like, I'm with all that. I'm pretty much cool on everything else. The music, if it's dope, I'll say it's dope. But for me, there's no anticipation. I'm cool on everything else. All the comments, the only time I will reference them is if we have to talk about it as a topic.
We
That's
never
where I'm
have
at.
to.
Fair enough. Then we don't have to anymore. Jump in, Lone.
No, I don't have anything to say.
That's where I'm at. Jay Diff?
Go ahead, just let it rip, man.
I mean, at this point, I don't really have a whole lot to say either.
This is my. I yield my time to Jay Diff.
I saw you. I saw you.
Yeah, man, it's
tough, man.
It's tough, because like I said, I seem like I keep seeing like a glimmer of hope, like leading up to the album that was supposed to come out, and that's what really fucks me up. So he got on SNL. This album was supposed to come out right after the show,
right?
And rather than actually dropping the album, he used that time to be back on that bullshit. Like he said when he got to Chicago, what did he say? I'm out of the sunken place, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He said that. Then as soon as the promo for Saturday Night Live came out, he's wearing a Free Hoover sweatshirt, which is Chicago shit. Everybody know what that is.
Larry Hoover.
Yep.
But he was donning a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so you were supposed to be out of the sunken place. I G'd for the Free Hoover sweatshirt. I like that. But that hat though. So we gonna play both sides of the fence.
He did the same thing with a Cap joint as well.
With a what?
Kaepernick. He had a joint that said something about Kaepernick, but he was still rocking the hat. There were 2 pictures that came out.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
He was
one.
trying to. He also made the suggestion that Kaepernick needs to go to the White House.
Yeah,
he
sit
said he
down
called
with Trump.
him. Yep. So he can get him into the White House so they can just take. He said take out all of the SOB stuff and just get right to the source so we can have love and talk about what's going on.
Who started that?
I'm not going for
anymore.
it. But anyway, Kanye, man, I really want to dig what's going on with you, but it's just you just keep going back to the bullshit. And it's more about you parading around and wanting to say stuff that gives people a rise or makes you sound intelligent, and you have other people that follow you that are really listening to what you're saying, and they're trying to make it make sense for their own agenda. You know what I'm saying? Have y'all seen that?
Because
I know exactly what
they
you're
don't
saying.
want to distance themselves from him just in case he gets back into his artistic bag.
I could care less about his personal
True.
views. You know what I'm saying? I really don't care about you wanting to have this run in 2020. You're not going to make it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's simple fact. Nobody's going to vote you into office because
Who's
he
that?
gets in a place. You said, who is that?
Who? Kanye?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in a place where people are asking you questions and you do these long pauses and then you get upset when people try to move the conversation on. He's like, no, let me think. That's what happened on TMZ.
But here's the thing, though. He's promoting free thinking, but the free thinking is not being executed correctly because it's not thought out free thinking. It's
Well,
just blurting. You're just blurting out stuff, and then you have to go back and play the correction game the next day.
He's not emotionally
my
stable
thing.
enough to run for office.
No.
I agree.
This is my thing
Neither
with
is
that.
Trump, but-
If you feel a certain
That's
type
true.
of way about something, if you ask me a question, I'm ready to go
Mhm.
because I've done my due diligence as far as researching all of these points that I'm making. So if you ask me a question about this point I just made, I don't need to sit there and take the moment in to figure out what I'm going to say.
Right.
Now, I understand that maybe he can't articulate it like he wants to because he's definitely guilty of saying things the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you feel a certain way about something, you need to be able to voice that rather than trying to come up with an idea at that moment to try to make it make sense.
Mhm.
If you're going to be vocal about it.
Right.
Right.
You know, like you can have your thoughts and not be not understand what exactly you're going to say if we're having a conversation here off the air, with your friends and stuff. But if you're going to get out there and protest your words as gospel, then you should know what you're talking
be
about.
accountable with your reach.
Yeah, and
Your
he's
re-
not
your-
saying anything new.
your reach
Or compelling.
Right.
reach is he has a reach that travels mountains, man. But you have to be accountable with your reach. And right now he's not being accountable by the things that he's saying. So that's why I said with me, if the music is dope, I'll rock with it. But I'm all about the city of Chicago, and that's pretty much it. I'm cool on everything
Well,
else.
see, this is the thing. At this point, Kanye West music is not good enough for me to really pay much attention to his unhinged and uninformed rants.
That's fair.
He's like someone who does a 10-minute book report but didn't read the book. And
Got the wrong cliff notes.
yeah, like he
Didn't even bring him in his backpack.
yeah. And
For the
Oh,
book
this
it.
isn't even Cliff Notes.
yeah. And the thing is, each and every one of us probably has someone in our lives, whether it be a coworker or a family member, who has a conservative political viewpoint. But whether
Sure.
we agree with those people or not, they could at least articulate why they have that viewpoint. They came to it through some sort of exploration, through just some. They were able to come to these conclusions through some sort of thought process. Like I said, we may not agree with it, but at least they can vocalize where they're coming from. Kanye West just expresses things that he doesn't think people will agree with for
Or
the
doesn't-
sake of not being with the mainstream.
Well, he also doesn't think that people understand.
The thing is, we completely understand, and we understand
That's-
that you're wrong.
But that's
Not that you're
right.
wrong, but the fact that how you came to those, you're saying things that are so diametrically opposed to one another.
It doesn't make
You can't
sense.
have on a Free Hoover shirt and then have on a Make America Great hat.
That's his-
Those
that's
things
his
have
point.
nothing to do
And
with
then
each other.
bring up abolishing the 13th Amendment. That's what really gets me.
But to your point, he had to go back and amend himself. Like he said, he had to come back, double back, and say, "Oh, I meant to say, or I should have said, amend." Which goes back to your point about you really just out here talking and you're not thinking.
Yeah,
about
because
what you're
somebody
saying.
probably pulled his card on that and was like, "Oh gosh, I didn't realize that.
But I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
Maybe I
ahead, bro.
should watch
Yeah.
a documentary about that."
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we
good one I can
we've
think of.
definitely addressed that documentary on the show
Facts.
in one of the 101 episodes that we recorded.
Facts.
It's in there. But my whole thing is stop trying to appease everybody, because that's what it sounds like to me. I'm going to put on this hat. I'm still hip hop. I'm going to wear this Hoover sweatshirt. I'm still for black people, but I really like Trump. And I keep hearing a lot of people saying, back to the Trump thing, I hate to go back to it, but they're always like, well, rappers all G for Trump until he became president.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of someone changing? You know what I'm saying? So if you change and now you're not a representation of me.
Mhm.
You pretty much, it's almost like a cultural vulture, for lack of better words. It's like I'm gonna rub elbows with y'all right now, and then when I get to the point where I need to be,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna distance myself from you all,
Do you think
and I'm
Trump
going
really
to change. I'm going to change my viewpoints. I think he changed to a certain extent.
Jump in, Spoolz, because that was going to
Well,
be
hold
my
on.
question.
Let me finish the
Okay,
statement
go ahead.
though. He changed to a certain extent. Not the person that he is, because he's always been that flamboyant. I'm rich. I can do whatever I want to do. He got on Oprah back in the '80s and said he talked about running. If I run, I'm going to make it.
Actually,
Good
let
call.
me just, because actually they did the research on that. He didn't actually say that. That was just something that it circulated so much.
He
that,
says something similar to that because I actually seen the clip.
okay, he might go, but I remember there was a meme going around. It was like, I'd run as a
The meme-
Republican.
The meme was false.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
not the
meme was-
meme
the meme
itself,
was
but he
actually false.
definitely said, he actually said he didn't want to be president,
He said that
but
if
he said that if he ran, he would win.
he
There
would
it is.
he would only run if he knew that he could win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what's crazy, people forget he made a presidential run in 2000 as a Democrat.
Go ahead, Spoolz.
Oh no, I don't think he's changed a whole lot. To your point, I know you're not saying he's like changed fundamentally as a person.
No,
but I
not
don't
that.
think he has like one bit. I think he's just continued to be the same kind of individual he is now.
Well, what happened was
We're talking about Donald Trump or Kanye
Yeah.
West at this point?
Donald Trump. I'll talk about Kanye, but if you want to,
No, Donald Trump. We just know more about him now.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's what
Yeah.
I was going to actually
Like
point
we didn't
at.
know anything about him when people were shouting him
Yeah,
out and
people were talking about him because he had money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the elements of hip hop is having money. So he aspired
Hip hop
to
has
be
always been
a
aspirational.
businessman that has money. So they used Trump as an example. Now, once Trump began his idea to run
yeah,
or whatnot, he then relinquished his true colors.
Right.
Told you exactly who he was, what he was about, what
hip
he's going
hop
to
is
do.
very can be, especially on the commercial level, be very capitalist.
Capitalist,
Exactly.
You know, so,
aspirational.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spoolz.
But as far as Kanye is concerned, like I just can't take him seriously any longer.
Okay.
I probably haven't taken him seriously for the last couple of years. I was interested to hear some of the music. I've never thought, I guess back to our unpopular like rap opinion, hip hop opinions from back like some episodes ago, but I've never been a huge Kanye fan. We've talked about this before.
Right.
I've appreciated his production. Never thought he was that great of a MC or rapper. Good for making, I guess, like commercial, more poppy type hip hop, I guess you
He
could
got
say.
a handful of classics, but I'm just
But no, it's hard to take him seriously at all. I don't now he's become this like sideshow. Like, what crazy thing is Kanye gonna say next? Like, it has nothing to do with his music. That's like secondary, seemingly. It's hard to relate to him when he does, like when I do listen to what he has to say.
Yeah.
The only times I could really relate to him is when his mom passed, just because my mom passed about 12 years ago. You know what I mean? So, I could relate to him for a while, but anymore I just have a hard time. He just doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me. He just doesn't. It doesn't connect for me. He's so into himself, it's ridiculous.
he is, and I kind of think that's
and
why.
that's always been the same. Like that's always been there.
I think that's why too the album did not come out, because he's into himself.
Yeah. He
because
might have
Lil
some
Wayne dropped an
legitimate
album.
issues, but for some, he has access to so many resources. Like people around him need to like care about him then and like get him away from any like
That's supposed to be
TMZ.
why he went to Chicago,
You
but
know.
we see
yeah.
what he's doing. But I think one of the reasons the album didn't come out is because Lil Wayne's album dropped.
That's exactly why I think it didn't come
And
out.
he said that I'm going to be number 2 because my brother Lil Wayne is coming out, and pretty much giving him the pass to be number 1 for your album coming out. So to me, that's weird. So that Lil Wayne's album is coming out. You was gung ho when 50's joint was dropping.
Right.
That was a
You was
long
ready-
time ago though.
Still,
Yeah.
regardless,
That's when we all still cared.
yeah, we still actually went out and bought the
Yeah.
CDs or whatnot. But he finds that out, and now all of a sudden you're on this press tour. You're not talking anything about the album. You're just talking about your political views.
And then when he met with the lead guy from TMZ, he flipped it again. This goes right back to the free thinking concept of finding something to say at the perfect time. He says, "Nah, I decided to push the album back because we are going to be using sounds that people have never heard before. We're going to be talking about people that are body shamed. We're going to be talking about people, women being shamed for sleeping with X amount of people in their lives.
You're talking about family?
We're just going to go. I see what you did there.
Featuring what's his ex name?
And then,
Amber Rose.
Rose, featuring Amber Rose.
And then he says, yeah, so we're going to go to Africa and finish the album up just so I can be outside and just set the microphone up and just hear all the elements outside. I'm
That's
like,
some
fam.
shit, man. If the album is done, man, put it out.
I wouldn't
work on the next one.
Thank you.
Work on the next one.
Checkmate.
I'm not going on the all of a sudden going to Africa because you wanted to finish the
He
album.
didn't name a country. You just said Africa, right?
He said Africa.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm going to Africa. So
Africa's a continent, B.
Yeah.
that's what
He's just gonna fly around.
Yeah.
he gonna fly.
He is.
around.
Let's skip
I'm
over
cool on
Kanye, man. I think we've talked
Just
about
gonna fly
Kanye.
around.
Let's talk about Lil Wayne, whose album just dropped.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about some music that came out. Actually, came out.
Carter 5.
I didn't like it.
Carter 5.
I'll defer to my time.
I'll reclaim
ahead,
my
Mike.
time.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm going to reclaim it.
Preference it a little bit.
All
I
right,
can make
man,
my
so
time short after you preface it, but go ahead.
So we all know Wayne's had his issues and he's been through the ups and downs with Baby, blah, blah, blah. He got released, got his bread, cool. So finally got a chance to drop the Carter 5, the fifth one in his Carter series. And I thought it was, when I saw you, I gave it the term solid.
You said it was solid.
I
but-
said solid.
Did you?
As I listen to it more, it's starting to go a little bit below solid because I gave it a run.
What's below solid for you?
Below solid would be
Not solid.
It's
Liquid.
It's cool. Below solid would be it's cool.
Below solid is cool.
Really?
Yeah,
All right.
that's for me. Cause solid means I was feeling better about it.
I
but
want to
now
see
it's
your
like,
I want to see your whole rating scale.
I'll write it out
Yeah,
for
we
you
should.
one day.
We
Alright.
should come up with
Give
that.
it like a 2.2.
Ish.
Yeah,
You
if
know
you
what
had to
I'm
put
saying?
it on a number scale, a 10 out of 10.
6.5, maybe.
That's generous.
Wow.
Somewhere in there. And it's just because like Wayne is still clever. I'm not gonna front on him. He still put the words together. Like he
Alright.
still got bars. I ain't gonna front on him with
If you
that.
say so.
But
Yeah, okay.
a lot of it was it's just a little too much for me, man. Like I just singy, crooning, a lot of that. I was cool, man. Like it's okay. It's cool. It's
Uh-huh.
cool now. I'm
Look.
not going to you because I know what you're gonna say.
What's your 10 out of 10 rating, Sean? From
Stop,
what you've
man.
heard.
From what I've heard,
Yes.
I don't really have a rating. I'll just say this: it was very hip hop ballady. I don't like hip hop ballads.
You've got to have a rating out of 10.
Then 0, because I'm never gonna listen to it again.
All right.
That's what I was looking for.
Even here's his thing. I've never been a Wayne fan. I've never hated him, but I've never been a fan. Terry brought this point up on Saturday, I think, when we were talking. He was like, it's boring. It's just a boring project. Like it doesn't have a lot of emotion in it. Well, let me rephrase
there's
that.
lots
There's
of
tons.
emotion.
There's
There's
tons.
emotion
There's
in
tons
it,
of
yeah.
emotion. There's tons of emotion. There's just none of the emotion that you would expect, I guess, from Lil Wayne, which is fine. But as somebody who's not a fan in the first place, it didn't really do anything for me. I really was hoping to like the Mona Lisa song after hearing people talk about it, but that song was trash to me. So
It was a bad version of a story to tell. Like where, the whole thing. It was just. Imagine a story to tell by Notorious B.I.G., but it's not entertaining.
I actually
So-
want to see the visual for that. I thought it was cool. That's me.
but again, it's hip hop ballads, and I don't like hip hop ballads. It's the same
I
argument
didn't-
with Eminem. I just don't. I don't
I
like
didn't even
that
care
stuff.
for Kendrick's verse. Everybody was talking about, oh, Kendrick bodied it. I was like, I'm cool on it.
All right, you want me to go?
Go ahead, young man.
Tell me when to go.
I can't give it a number because I
Nice,
didn't listen
Terry.
to it like that.
Hey, at least you honest.
Yeah.
At least you honest.
24 songs deep. Got the
23.
same number. Oh, 23.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Lupe's was 24.
We're
There
gonna
you
make
go.
fun
Which
of
was
it.
a
We're gonna
dope
make fun of
album.
that like we do E40's music. Or
E40 put out like 50.
Well, that he puts out
Just
at least
curious.
double
I
that.
just
At
didn't
least
know.
double
Yeah.
that.
But to Spool's point,
But-
I did dock it for being a little long.
Yeah.
That was a part of my rating.
I
as
still
well.
haven't listened to
Go
Lil
ahead.
Wayne's either.
Carter 5. As Sean said, I think it is a little on the boring side, in my opinion. Now, I do think Wayne is rapping pretty decent on this album.
He can still rap.
I've rocked with Lil Wayne since Hot Boys.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But this album is just like, it's not okay. 23 tracks. It's almost like you're trying to make up ground for all that time that this album has been on the shelf. And it's
Agreed.
obviously not the same album that got shelved 4 or 5 years ago.
Nope.
I mean, because it's featuring Extension. He's on the first song after his mom leaves the voicemail talking about everybody's looking for the album, and she breaks down crying, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then you have his daughter featured on the album. You have a special delivery remix, might as well say. So 2003 is in effect.
Lone's favorite producer produced that. Shout out to Swiss Beats.
Swizzy.
Swizzy. But yeah, that's like the highlight
He
of
should
the
know better.
album.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of the album, though. How is a song from 2003? I hope that's right. 2003.
I like the
don't know.
remix.
You're
The
asking the
remix
wrong guy.
was G-Dep.
Shout
That
out
was
to
a G-Dep
G-Dep.
song,
That
right?
was a
Yeah, it was
G-Dep
a
right
G-Dep.
there.
There's a remix with Ghostface, right?
Ghostface
Yes.
and Craig Mack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I haven't listened
But yeah,
to it, so.
I mean, that's kind of the highlight of the album. There are no songs that goes back to being able to play something out.
Yeah.
There is maybe 2 songs on there that you could play out as a DJ,
I like
which
Jenny.
is the special delivery remix. I'm not even calling it the right name. And then there's a song featuring Ashanti and Mac Main.
delivery remix.
That one can possibly go in the club.
I like Dedicate, the one where he talked about how he influenced the game. He talked about
That
how he
one
was
was
talking
decent.
about Bloods. and
I
how
do
he
like
got-
the
that was
last
cold.
song on the album where he talks about him shooting himself.
Yeah, that was dope.
Well,
I do like that song.
I mean, it just goes to what all you guys are saying. Like, I've never been a huge Wayne fan, but I've never been bored by his music. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
when I just remember when everybody decided, oh, Lil Wayne is the next one, and then the Carter 3 came out, and when I first heard Lollipop, I was like, this is what everybody's so excited about, but at least
He actually stole that song from somebody from that.
Facts.
I actually, at least when I heard that and like Let the Beat Build and several other songs and Mr. Carter,
Then were some dope
I
songs.
understood. I was like, okay, I get it. This isn't really my thing because one of the things I feel like Lil Wayne does is he rhymes a word with a word, usually a curse word or the N word, and like people are like, oh, listen to him rhyme. I was like, that's not. He's just filling in words until he can rhyme bitch with bitch again. You know what I'm saying? Like I pay attention to stuff like that, and I'm not impressed. But like I said, the special delivery remix, the song with Snoop.
The song with Snoopy is
It
pretty
was
dope.
basically a remix of a song from the Chronic 2001.
All his remixes are dope.
And so I'm listening.
Special delivery
Some of it
remix.
sounds like mixtape records and not
Yeah.
really great ones.
Yeah.
I heard a couple things and I was like, okay, maybe that'll go with Tiki Bob's. But the rest of it, like I said, this is the first time I've just been bored by Wayne's music.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of mopey, like
That's what's in right now.
Emo
and like I
wave.
said, it was like Lil Wayne trying to do an
Emo
Eminem
wave.
record.
Yeah.
And I'm not here for that.
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't impressed. I don't think I listened to it specifically for the purpose of being on this show. And like, of course, like I said, I'm still out and I want to know what's popping in the culture on a commercial level. And I couldn't get into it, man. Like I said, now that I've listened to it for the show, I'll probably never pick it up again.
The joint is called Uproar.
Uproar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, special
Not the
delivery
special
remix.
delivery
Spoolz, what do you have to say about this album?
Not a whole lot.
Okay.
I only listened to a couple of the tracks. One of my unpopular hip hop opinions that I actually stated back when we had that was about Lil Wayne and how unimpressive I've always found him to be in general.
You sure did.
So what I heard was right in line with how I've always felt about Lil Wayne in general. And I'm not, again, I'll say that I wouldn't take anything away from his success or
He definitely
influence or
influenced
anything
a
like
lot
that.
of people out right now.
That's what I'm saying. So, but for better or worse, I would say worse. So, but no, he's the Bobcat Goldthwait of rap.
What you mean by that,
Spit
Spoolz?
a verse. All right.
Shout out to Police Academy too. That was my joint.
Straight
Right.
Hey, yo.
Wayne got some good shit out there, but unfortunately, this
It's
is
like,
not
that's
it.
the thing.
It's
Like,
a no for me, dog.
like I just
And
know
I'm not
that
dissing anybody there, but he just is that.
it's
Shout
just,
out to Mahoney.
that's how it is for me too.
Mahoney.
Like
Word to
he's
Mahoney.
just
Word to
never been
Hightower.
for me. So
Let's talk about something else that came out. Logic dropped a pretty solid album. I think his
Sinatra.
album is solid.
Yeah.
That's
solid.
a definition of solid, in
I would-
my opinion.
Because I would
I
listen
would
to that
agree.
again.
Yeah,
Young
I already
Sinatra
have
4.
listened. Yeah, that's a solid
he has some
album.
cuts on there. I'll give him that.
Now that,
He tries
It's
too hard
solid.
sometimes.
He
but
does.
he didn't
but-
go the route that
No,
we normally talk about. He
tried,
didn't do that.
He tried too hard in different ways, but
He went boom bap the
First of
whole
all,
album.
anybody that gets all the living members of Wu-Tang on one record, I'm giving you peace for that.
Yep.
So, however you pull
That's
that
why
off,
he's going too. That's why he's doing too much.
you. I'm giving him peace.
I
For
don't
I
know.
don't
I
think
think
that's
pretty
doing
dope.
too
I
much.
think that's pretty dope.
incredible. Yeah.
Like
I
to
think
me,
it's
that's
doing too
bucket
much.
list material.
I think he's doing. To me, that's just in line with the attention-seeking behavior of his music.
You don't think it's dope to get all the living Wu-Tang members on the
think
joint?
No, I think it's cool.
I
but
think that's dope.
It's cool. Like it's
I see.
all right. Like I like the record. It's
It's long.
It's cool. It's very long, but it's Wu-Tang. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's verse. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just giving him too. Maybe I'm giving him too hard of a time.
I look at it this way.
I like a lot of the records on there though.
We've had the Logic conversation, and we've all talked about his subject matter and what he tends to talk about.
My thing with Logic is he mimics people.
I didn't hear that on this one though as much.
I just heard him trying too hard.
Yeah,
Just
I
trying
didn't
too
really,
hard.
I didn't really hear him take the mimic angle.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to define that. Maybe I'm just hating. I might just be
Nah,
hating.
I mean, it's to each his own. I'm just saying this was more to his point, more hip hop. You could tell he was definitely trying to reach out to that
Yeah,
side.
He was trying to tap into that.
Yeah.
There were some records on there though.
He said his next joint is gonna be back to the trap, but he definitely put out he wants to do music with Jay.
Picks good beats too.
He said he was
He
the
does.
new Kanye. As far as
Don't say
he
that,
doesn't
buddy.
sound
Yeah,
like
I'm cool.
Kanye.
Yeah.
He had what was the last
He
song
just needs to
on,
be himself. He needs to learn this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I agree.
does. Stop the mimic shit because he pretty much all right. So he did kind of tap into the mimic thing on here.
Where?
So he has a song called "Iconic" featuring Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Who I
Jaden
rock
Smith
with, by the
had
way.
the song "Icon."
Yep.
It follows that same pattern.
Oh, I
You
see
know what
what
I'm
you're
saying?
saying.
All right, the
Okay.
last song on the album was what was Kanye's on College Dropout? The last song.
Cheers to the Rock.
What was the name of
It was
the
Last
called
Call.
Last Call.
Oh, where
He
he
has
just
a
talks.
he has a last call on the album when the song comes on, he's like, I always wanted to do this like Kanye. The beat even sounds similar to that beat.
That's a good point.
Then when it goes off, he's pretty much telling his story.
That's a good
So it's like
yeah, but I turned that off. It just wasn't compelling.
he's
Was it
he's
compelling?
good at rapping.
J Moore ain't
He knows
going.
what he's doing, but he mimics everybody. It's like, I'm gonna take something from him. I'm gonna take something from him. I'm gonna have a J. Cole little reference right here, but I'm gonna really try to make it sound like J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that that makes him lose points with me. But the album actually sounded pretty good.
And that was my point.
Yeah.
And I felt that with the Wu-Tang record, and I felt
Yeah.
that with the track right after that with Wale. It
Mm-hmm.
was just like, oh, he's just like picking a style and be like, here, watch me do it. It's never like, here's me.
Wale
Yeah.
put the bands on him too, low key with that verse. Wale actually is really, really dope when he wants to be.
Aren't they from around the same area?
He's out. He's,
Yeah, like
he's from out
DMV.
there. Yeah, he's
Okay.
a DMV area,
Okay.
so they rock with each other. But
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah, man,
good
Logic-
record. But like I know you guys said this was like, oh well, he tries too hard. Look, in this era of rap, I'd rather somebody try too hard because
Absolutely.
there's just this whole plethora of rap where I don't feel like they're trying at all.
Yeah.
When I say trying too hard, I mean he's trying too hard to not be himself.
Yeah, okay,
That's
that's fair.
fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, I got to listen to it with Lone earlier before the show, and what I got to hear I liked a lot. I'm not like a huge Logic fan, but I think he's solid. I think the record's solid, and
He's got some cuts on there.
Like I
I
said,
like the
I'll,
Wu-Tang
like I
joint
said,
a lot.
I'll listen to it again, which is
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
I can say for the Lil Wayne.
absolutely. I
Did
feel the
anybody
same.
check out Luca Brasi?
it sounds
No.
like one long trap beat over and over. The same
Just
trap
one?
beat, just one long trap beat with variations.
Kevin Gates, right?
Yeah, Kevin
Yeah,
Gates.
I was cool on that.
I'll take your word for
I
it.
didn't listen.
I gave it a spin. I didn't get all the way through it, but
Monotonous.
Gates.
Yeah, it gets boring.
He said it's Kevin
It
Gates.
gets boring to me really, really fast.
Kevin
One
Gates.
long
My
trap
thing with
song.
Kevin Gates
Yeah.
is he even says it on there. He's I don't want to be sociable. I don't want to be social. I mean, he acts like that in interviews. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it's weird. How are you in an industry that's built on being social? You have to go out and talk to people and perform in front of people, but you don't want to be social.
He does not.
I'm just glad he's not
Well,
in jail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that's going to do it for episode 101. I can't believe we're at
101.
101.
Yes, indeed.
Shout out to everybody, all our sponsors, bringingdowntheband.com, Coleman Dental 317-255-8546. Who did I miss? Team Backpack, Printfinity,
Indie CD and Vinyl.
Indie CD and Vinyl, our
Yes,
new
indeed.
sponsor as well. We got some great things going with them. Y'all make sure you go to the Patreon site,
Please.
www.patreon.com/NewOldHeads. We got a lot of dope things coming
Do
up.
that shit.
You hear us say it every month. You just sign
Just
up.
do it.
Just
Yeah.
sign up.
$1.
And thank you to our
Holla.
current Patreons.
Yes, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
each and every one of you, all of our new people that signed up. Thanks for showing us love. We need you guys. It's dope. We out. Peace.